it's Jonathan Porterfield again of Eco Cars, and another great Citreon C0 based on a Mitsubishi i-MiEV, and this is exactly the same as a Peugeot Ion, all made in Japan. And basically what Mitsubishi do is make this brilliant car, and they either pop Citroen or Peugeot badges or their own Mitsubishi badges. So built in Japan, extremely reliable. So this is a 12 plate, registered 31st of July 2012. We have the 3-pin plug granny cable because it's as slow as your granny, but you can use it at your granny's. It's that simple, just a 3-pin plug. We'll charge it at 10 amps. And I also always include a type 2 cable, which means you can charge at 16 amps from street chargers or your own home dedicated electric car charge point. The great thing about these cars, I think, as well as being small, you can pop these seats flat. Obviously with both of them down, it's a huge area in the back, so they really are versatile little electric vehicles, and I love them. They're really, really great. So we have sort of this salmon coloured upholstery in the back. There are no undue odours, proper mats in all 4 footwells, 2 rear seat belts, electric windows all round. There are no serious scuffs or marks to this little car, and I've personally driven this back from Bristol and all the way up to Orkney, something like 700 miles. Stops at rapid chargers. It drove absolutely spot on. Driver's seat there, and the passenger seat, no marks at all. Everything is as it should be, and like all of these Ion C0s, Mitsubishi i-MiEVs, drive absolutely spot on, and they all sound exactly the same. So I'll just take you inside and show you some more features. So I forgot to mention as well, the driver's seat is height adjustable. We have 2 keys. This is the remote, so you pop the key in the ignition like a normal car, put your foot on the brake and turn till you hear a bing bong, and then basically that's it running. We can trip round here. We have distance left 36,559, and this is the highest mileage Peugeot Ion Citreon C0 Mitsubishi i-MiEV I've ever bought, and the range, I have to say, has been exactly the same as a 3,000 mile Peugeot Ion Citreon C0 Mitsubishi i-MiEV. So there's hardly any degradation on this battery whatsoever. The battery is under warranty for 5 years or 60,000 miles as well. Lots of information about these on the net, but basically the batteries are lasting a lot longer than they thought. So there isn't any stories of these failing at all. But do your own research, have a look on the internet about the life of the batteries of these great little cars. CD player, radio, Bluetooth phone as well. All the normal controls you'd expect, including air conditioning, USB for your iPod, the obligatory cup holder, I think that's to please the Americans, and all the manuals are here, and the owner's handbook, and also the service book, which is not stamped, but it has been serviced. Oh, it has been serviced. I'm getting confused between cars now. Serviced at 12,000 miles and 24,000 miles. So it could do with a check over, but it's just had an MOT. The servicing on these is very, very minute. It's just to check the brakes, to be honest. Change the air filter to make the car smell nice, and that is it. Change the brake fluid every 2 years is what a service is on electric vehicles. Now I printed off the MOT proof. It's MOT till the 31st of July 2017. There was no advisories. The V5 is here. It was from Citroen Contract Motoring. No previous keepers, and so you'll be down as the second keeper, and the date of registration there, 31st of the 7th 2012. So everything is here that it should be, including the spare non-remote key. And I'll just now show you some other features. So before I walk you around the car, just take you now for a short test drive. So welcome to the test drive. Foot on the brake, turn and hold the key. Wait for a bing bong. There we go, the car's running. And just to show you, that's when I set the trip when I was down in, where did I get this from? Bristol. I've done 810 miles in this, travelling from Bristol to my parents in Leicestershire, and then from Leicester up to Orkney. So you can scroll around, trip A, trip B, tends to do the lights of the dashboard. And that's the range remaining. Now this will vary according to the driving style. So it's showing 33 miles of range. So full charge, you're looking at around 65-70 miles of charge between plug-in of range. So that's the, my camera works out what it's doing. That there is sort of the range gauge. And whatever gear you're in, it says P there. With my foot on the brake, if I pull the gear lever down to D, obviously it changes to D on the dashboard. So in drive, off the brake, squeeze the throttle. You get a bit of creep like you do in all automatics, but these really are great cars to drive. Oh, especially when you don't pull out in front of another car coming the other way. I think that lady's lost. Right, so it drives like all the other Citreon C Zeros we've had. No undue noises, drives lovely and straight, doesn't pull to the left or the right. Servicing wise, like I mentioned before, it's a pollen filter. There's nothing to do with the batteries, nothing to do on the motor. It's a brushless motor, the batteries are sealed for life. Check the brakes, check the tyres, pollen filter, screen wash, brake fluid change every 2 years, which you should do on every car, and that's it. Nothing else to really service, so very, very low running costs. Now as regards filling it up with electricity, you can do that overnight whilst you're asleep, or like I said, you could rapid charge it in about 17 minutes if you turned up at a rapid with perhaps 2 or 3 miles left, which I did frequently on the way up from Bristol. So if you're to use your own electricity, it costs you about £1.60 to fill it from nearly flat on a cheap overnight economy 7 type rate. Very, very cheap to run. Now people here on Orkney have got their own solar panels, wind turbine, and of course they're going to fill it for nothing. So even if you just get the free electricity and someone else owns your turbine and is getting the feed-in tariff, you can still benefit from free fuel for your car as well as electric for your home. No road tax. Now if you're in the south, you're thinking, oh, I really wish that was down here in London or Leicestershire or the Midlands, then fear not, I deliver UK wide, and I was down in the southeast just last week delivering 2 electric vehicles. But I say this one is here on Orkney, which is where my main market is at the moment. So probably notice the needle in the dash, and it goes over into the blue zone where it says charge. That means I'm not using the brakes, I'm actually coming off the accelerator and the motor is acting like a dynamo. So I'm actually now, as I'm slowing down for this junction on the right, it's putting charge back into the battery. So when you go down a hill, you can actually put fuel in your tank. It really is that simple. So it's got someone behind me, I'm just going to pull over. So there you go, there we go. So that concludes the test drive. Now if you've got any questions, feel free to contact me anytime. And like I said earlier, if you're here on Orkney and you'd like to borrow this, then by all means give me a call or drop me an email, and we'll arrange you to borrow it without any obligation. So thanks for watching, and I'll take you back now for a final walk around this car. So welcome back from the test drive. So I've given this a very quick clean before I videoed it today. All the glass is good, all the lenses are good, there are no scuffs down the side, it is really, really clean. And the other thing I've got to show you, under here, that's just the key, that's where we charge from a 3-pin plug, and that opens this little flap here, and that's where we plug in the granny cable or the type 2 cable. Now on the other side we have a lever here and that opens the rapid charge connection, which is this side. Now this will charge this car in around 17 minutes from a rapid charger. So when I came up from Bristol in this, each of my, where are we, 12 stops took me around 17 minutes. So with some planning you can do massive journeys. You can drive the length of the country in this if you want. So lots of tread on all the tyres. The only thing I can criticise it about is the alloy's got a little bit of paint flaking on each of the spokes on the front. The discs are fine, as are the pads. The rear wheel's fine, the corners are fine. There's a tiny scratch on the corner of the bumper there, but I'm being really fussy. This alloy's fine, as is the tyre. Very clean down the sides, and again the other front alloy is just suffering from some of the paint has flaked off, but that could easily be rectified. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions, give me a call. It's with me here on Orkney. If you're still umming and ahhing about electric vehicles, bring me up, have a chat. I'm quite happy to loan you this for a long weekend so you can experience what driving the future is really like. Thanks for watching.